helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Hundreds of kids repeat those words at least once a week at a scout meeting. That's what scouting's about, is teaching those values and also teaching citizenship, teaching duty to God, duty to country, and duty to self. Doing good turns, service projects. That's what we attempt to do through scouting. We are the Mid-America Council, formerly the Overland Trails Council. We are 102 counties in Iowa, Nebraska, and you're a part of what they call the Five Rivers District, which is headquartered here out of Grand Island. The scouting programs start with kindergarten. That is Cub Scouts. Those are the guys that come to your door in those little blue uniforms that ask you to buy popcorn, okay? That's their number one seller, is they sell popcorn. You realize out of a popcorn sale, 50% of that goes right to that unit, right to that boy, to use for his scouting experience. We take a small percentage as a council, and of course then we have to pay for the product. But 50% goes back to that boy for his scouting adventures. So he continues in the Cub Scout program till he reaches 5th grade. And then what used to be called Boy Scouts. It's now called Scouts BSA. Takes into effect. Scouts BSA and Cub Scouts are now open to all children, boys and girls. In the Cub Scout level, they're intermixed together in their dens. But once they come into Boy Scouts, they separate. You have a separate girl group and a separate boy group, where they're not intermixed. Internationally, if you go to Europe, places they are intermixed, but in the United States, we still keep them separate for various reasons. And we've been doing that probably now for about 5 years. We're seeing girls become Eagle Scouts. All you know John Roseland, I've heard of John Roseland in town, most of you. His daughter was one of the first Eagle Scouts in the area. And we're glad to be able to provide that program for families that want it. We don't care whether you're involved in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, 4-H, whatever works best for your family, that's what we want. And we're having success with the girls. There are 2 other programs in addition to our Scouts BSA. I have to think that, because after 20, 30 years saying Boy Scouts, it's kind of tough to go back and think Scouts BSA. But we have venturing. Venturing, you put an A and a D in front of it, and that's what it is. So you like scuba diving. We form an adventure crew, and all they do is scuba dive. We've had kids that would go down to the Blue Hole. I guess that's anybody familiar with scuba diving, that's a great place to go. We also have then exploring, which is, again, for kids 14 to 21 that explore different career options. And if you were around last weekend, if you all drive by Sturm Museum, you see all the tents up. That was our Merit Badge University, where we teach merit badges to our Boy Scouts and give them the opportunity to explore different career fields. There's about 130 different merit badges. During that weekend, we offered 67 different merit badges. And we did that with the help of Central Community College, Sturm Museum, various business leaders throughout town. So, in your packet here, I will reference, we have a stakeholders report that'll talk about merit badge universities and all that thing. You can read it at your leisure. We also have coming up, I believe in a couple of weeks, our major recruitment effort. And it's the 17th, it's at Stolly Park for our Cub Scouts. We have a little bit more on the Boy Scout program, or Scouts BSA. There, I did it. I knew I was going to do it. And we have a quick guide on Cub Scouts in here for you. Talks about the activities. How does Cub Scouting work? Cub Scouting is our biggest youth member program. And then there's a lot of statistics in this one, and it's meant to be used with our school administrators and people in schools to tell you how scouting helps supplement schools. 76% of the scouts are twice as likely to earn a bachelor's degree. 29% of scouts are twice likely to earn an advanced degree. 85% of scouts' BSA merit badges include requirements that meet national science standards. Key items. And we are lucky in Nebraska, and that's this next one. Through the generous benefactor of the Walter Scott Foundation, we are able to offer each kid that graduates here in Nebraska that's an Eagle Scout that goes to college here in Nebraska, everyone, $3,000 annually towards his or her college degree. That is just a tremendous opportunity that we as this council, because of Walter Scott and his involvement with scouting, are able to offer to all these kids, keeping them here, having them go to college here, keeping them coming back into our communities. Because the chances are, if they go to college here, they may stay here. And it's also good for community college. That's $6,000. So, I've spent my whole career, 42 years, in the scouting program. And I've seen what it does for young people. And I recognize some of you out here that have had that same experience. I go to a Merit Badge University, and I'm running now into grandkids of an Eagle Scout that I recruited in first grade. To watch these young people grow and to give them the skills to be successful, you can't beat that. And the parents that help out and everybody that helps, you here today, this is a big step for you. And I appreciate you coming here and learning about all these agencies because they do so much for this community. I've called Grand Island my home for 28 years. It's my home. And the amount of people that give in this community, their time, talents, and other resources is tremendous. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what I want to do when I retire, but I know I want to stay as close to Grand Island. But you're taking the time to learn about these agencies. You have one of the best United Ways in the United States. I've been involved with a lot of United Ways. And they do things right. They do things, they get the community involved. Whatever you decide to support, they're all wonderful organizations. They all work very hard for each other. They all collaborate. It means a lot to me as an executive director that you would take the time out of your schedule just to hear 10 minutes about an organization. You're spending a whole day. And I hope you'll leave here today with a better understanding of how this community works and how the agencies work together. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough resources. They're always struggling, but they do it with a smile because they care about what happens in this community. And so the Scouts, we're changed. We're no longer Overland Trails. We're Mid-America. But the mission is still the same. And that may change over as we expand our program and look to the future. Yeah, we don't have Camp Augustine, but we couldn't afford to maintain it. Okay? But we have Camp Cedars, which provides horses, ATVs, so much more that they can provide our young people than what we could. We couldn't afford it. But a bigger council with more resources provides more things for young people. So we are changing, but the mission and the program remains the same. But we couldn't do it, I couldn't do it, without the wonderful volunteers I have. They are tremendous people. Without your support and without the support of the United Way. We could not do what we do. We've got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do with our kids. Our kids are our most important resource. You know, you see the mass shootings happening left and right. Could we made a difference in that kid's life? That's what we're here to do. We're here to help our young people. So with that, am I still good? You're good. Okay. Will you allow me questions or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for? Maybe I missed it. How much does it cost to enroll your child?
Well, it's around $150 a year, but if any kid cannot afford it, we have the resources to make that happen. No kid has ever refused a chance to participate. And we also do something different because we have our national dues and they say you have to pay it all at one time. What we do is we developed a monthly draw of about $17 that we're able to do. No other council area in the United States does that, but we do that through Omaha. But again, you know, we'll work with you, and the idea is we get them joined up, they sell popcorn, and they fund their own program from then on. But we'll meet any financial need. I've never refused to help someone. There are donors in this community that love Scouts that I can go to and say, hey, this kid can't afford it. Can you help out? I've never been refused. And so that's what the cost is.
And for the activities, parent or a parent accompanies the child?
Sometimes, not all the time. They'll go in with their own group. They'll have a den or a pack, go to their activities. We encourage the parental involvement because the more times that a parent can be involved with their child, the more success you're going to have in developing that child. And in your packet should have been 40 developmental stages from the Search Institute that lead to healthy youth development and how our Cub Scouting program helps facilitate that. If you know, the Search Institute is out of Minneapolis, and they look at things at child development. And there are 40 key assets that they feel has to be in a child's life to have him successful. And that'll tell you how the scouting program, and if it got missed in some of your packets there, I'll get you on. It tells you how we measure in the Cub Scout program on each of those 40 developmental skills. Simple things like putting the child with an adult role model. We may think that's not a big deal, but for that kid, that's huge. It's huge that he has a role model that he looks up to as a scout leader. So, you know, we encourage parental involvement. The more you can get involved with your sons, the better, or daughters, child, the better it is for them. Some of my best memories are with my son and his scouting experience, and my daughter in her scouting experience. Unfortunately, she didn't have the opportunity to be in Scouting USA, but she worked on camp staffs at Camp Augustine when she became old enough. But, you know, those are experiences that will always stay with our family. And some are good, some are not good. The food that just didn't get cooked right, you know, you eat it with a smile and say, okay, yeah, you, and then you try and help him later. Failure is an important part of our program. You must let the kids experiment, and they're going to fail. They're going to go to that first camp out and realize, I forgot this and that, and it's going to be miserable. It's going to rain. They don't have a raincoat. They need to learn from that. That's a learning experience, and we're here to help them with that. So again, I appreciate every one of you being here. You don't know how much this means to the agencies. On behalf of all the agencies and the United Way Board, thank you. Thank you for what you do in this community, because you're making a difference.